And no win in 5. What's going wrong, and will you turn it round this weekend against Wolves?
Hopefully. I've been saying that, though. We played worse teams than Wolves, I think, in this spell, and we haven't. So I actually don't know. We've looked at times good enough, I think, in the first half against Bournemouth. We played some good football, but second half, obviously, we didn't take our chances. Momentum shifted. I think Maresca probably tactically wasn't on it as much as some people just keep blaming Jackson. I think Maresca has to have some of the blame in recent weeks, because any manager that goes 5 games without a win is not doing a good enough job. So hopefully we do, but it's sort of come out of nowhere, to be honest. I just didn't really see Chelsea falling into this sort of rut and not being able to get out of it. I thought we'd sort of left that behind last season.
But why?
And can I ask you something?
What? No, hold on. What? Why? Why?
What do you mean? Why?
I want to know why. Because
I think you did this last week, couldn't they?
No. The reason why I'm asking you why you didn't see any of this.
Yeah, you said the same thing last week.
Hold on. Because it was a new manager in a young squad, and you didn't believe that there was a possibility that if they had one bad result, it could follow. Like, I don't know, like, why? How couldn't you see?
No, because actually at the end of last season, you know, like for example, when we lost to Arsenal 5-0 away, we actually then still pushed on to move up the table after that. But earlier on in that season under Poch, we didn't. We would lose and then we'd go into a rut and not be able to get out of it and sort of spiral out of control. This season, even under Maresca, we've lost a couple of games. We lost to Liverpool. We lost to Man City first game of the season. And we still kept correcting ourselves when mistakes were made. And then this time round, obviously, after we lost to Fulham, I think it was, I think from that moment on, we've not corrected mistakes that have been made. And the players have dropped out of form. And it's just a bit of a vicious circle at the moment for Chelsea.
So I got a question. I don't watch a lot of Chelsea. I tried to this year just because I was going to try and see how Sancho was going to do, and I saw a few games. But I do have a question about, like, and this is just me being a little curious about the situation. I was told Jadon Sancho was going to, like, be the guy, and I'm genuinely asking, how has he been in this 5-game streak? Because I told a lot of Chelsea fans that this is what he kind of does. He looks really good when he lands. He's pumped. He's motivated. He kills it. And then you see the whole motivation drop, and that happens on the pitch. And then he starts being the player that, in my opinion, isn't good enough to be a star on a top Premier League side. But I could be wrong. So I'm asking the question.
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet. I think he's been absolutely fine. I actually don't think Jadon Sancho
fine or like top.
No, he's been good enough.
You saw the word that he used, Cam, right? Players. He's been fine. He used that strategically.
No, you two have an agenda against Sancho. I think you need to drop it.
I don't have an agenda.
If you use the evidence that's there,
we asked you how he did it.
But Dan is right. Sancho's been good.
Fine.
Yeah, if you use the evidence,
I gave him an opportunity
on the pitch. Literally, guys, just give it a second. Let me respond. Yeah, if you use the evidence that is there from this season at Chelsea, your points sound so ridiculously stupid. I'm going to leave it at that. Because Sancho is not the issue at Chelsea. He's been a level above a number of players. You're doing too much. There are far more issues at Chelsea that are causing Chelsea issues than Jadon Sancho.
So then you should.
And hold on, Cam. I just want to know what issues that Cam raised that were too much just now. Because I missed it. What issues did Cam? Unless you did the
same thing last week.
I'm not talking about last week. I'm talking about right now.
Okay, right now nothing's changed. Sancho is still performing to a level I think is acceptable to be playing for Chelsea in the Premier League.
Acceptable.
So why is your back against?
Okay, so here's the thing. You just said two things there. Like, and again, I was
acceptable and fine, and I think Sancho is playing at a level that is above where the majority of the squad have been. And acceptable and fine for me is good enough to be competing for Champions League places at Chelsea. And I think Sancho's quality on the pitch right now shows he's capable of doing that.
And he's been one of your best left wingers.
Yeah, honestly, I don't see him losing that spot.
If you're making fun of Sancho, he's not been an issue at all.
I don't know what I said, bro. I didn't say anything on this show.
Go on, Henry.
Do you think that if these results continue, Chelsea will regret sacking Pochettino?
Nah. No, they might regret hiring Maresca.
I want to follow up with that. At the moment, you are 3 points off of 8th. If Wolves... Is the game at Stamford Bridge or is it at Molineux?
I think it's away. Could be.
It's Stamford Bridge.
Okay, so if Wolves get a positive result, which they could do, and teams around you win, you could drop to 6th or 7th. How many points did Pochettino finish on? Because I don't think at this moment in time you'll beat. What is it? 71.
Yeah, let me answer for you, right? Because I hear what you're saying, that there is a chance that Pochettino could, in fact, end up with a better points tally than what Maresca's got if this form sort of carries on. I just think Pochettino had to go realistically after how long it took for him to get to a level that was probably okay. And I think he just clashed with everything the sporting directors wanted to do. And I think the relationship had ultimately broken down, so they had to move him on. I think the better question to put would be, will they regret hiring Maresca? Because I think that I think if it doesn't improve from last season, then yes, I actually think that they might regret that, because I'm not sure whether or not this is what everyone was saying about Maresca before he come in, that he could drop off in the middle of the season. He could throw away a certain amount of points in the season. He's capable of doing that. He is inexperienced. He is potentially a championship level manager. There's no proof to back it up. He's been poor at Parma. And actually all those things now, when we're in a rut and he's being, I mean, it's not entirely on him. And I actually sort of back him at the moment to turn it around, because he's learnt from his mistakes before. But he's also got players out of form at the same time. And defensively, I still think there are issues. They have to be addressed. And I think it's too early to jump on that right now and start suggesting that he should leave. And there has been a mistake in recruiting him.
Dan,
I think you'll know in 10 games' time.
What are the fans saying, Dan? Sorry, Gal, I'll come to you next, Gal. So what are the fans saying? Because let's just drop the sort of Poch in brigade are now really piping up, which I just don't think is constructive in any way, shape. As you said, there's more than one reason.
Poch was finished. I think it was done.
No, yeah, exactly. And Poch, as you said, irrespective of points totals, the relationship with the board, relationship with what you're trying to build is an important factor. So if you drop those fans out, what are others saying? What are the kind of majority in the middle saying about Maresca? Is there a fear that maybe that collapse that Leicester suffered last season is on him? Or is it just a case of, well, this is a young squad and a young manager, and you'll think he's going to turn it around? What's the gut feeling of Chelsea fans right now?
I actually think the loudest noise I've heard from Chelsea fans right now is actually towards the sporting directors. And I think in the last few days, since the mess with Trevoh Chalobah obviously being recalled and the issues that are sort of looking like they're still there after $1.5 billion's been spent, I think the light is starting to be shone on the sporting directors that maybe they aren't necessarily doing a good enough job. They decided to hire 4 managers, 5 managers. All of those managers, even up until Maresca, have yet to prove themselves, yet to be good enough. They are the ones that have decided to spend that much money and fail to show a direction that the club is ultimately wanting to head in, because it's just a chaotic, scattergun approach. No one really has an idea of what it means when a player joins Chelsea anymore. They don't know if that player is going to be cemented. They don't know if that player is going to be moved on for profit. And I think people are getting fed up with that. And I genuinely think that the sporting directors are the ones who are coming under the most sort of pressure right now. I think Maresca, yes, there are question marks because he is still a young and inexperienced manager, but I actually back him to turn it around. I think it's so early for him to be in this position in his career, to be the manager of Chelsea with the pressure of £1 billion being spent on the squad you're managing is incredibly high. And he's literally, a year and a half, 2 years into his managerial career. So I think it's really early for someone to be in that position. And I also think the club itself hasn't put itself in the best position in recent years to demand what it used to be able to demand. So I think people are saying, what's going on with the sporting directors? Why is that now the case? Because the owners don't know anything about football, and the people they bought in to trust on their opinions about football don't seem to know how to convert that into success.
I get that, Dan. Again, I want to throw that point to you, because you're someone, and this isn't to try and dig or catch you out. This is just our minds change when information changes. I remember at the start of the season, you were very much actually, I now see the vision of Chelsea. I now see what they were trying to do. Do you stand by that? Or do you think maybe you went too early on it? Do you feel that this is just a blip and actually they are still heading in the right direction? It's just a, horrible period of form they're going through? Or do you think there could be a deeper, wider issue at the club and with the squad?
No, I still stand by what I said. I think Chelsea's still headed in the right direction. As somebody who is not a Chelsea fan and looking from the outside looking in, it's very predictable that they're going to have a tough spell throughout the season. They have a young squad. They have a striker who they don't fully trust in, and he had a good start to the season. He's now a little bit regressed. They have a whole team of players who haven't played too many seasons together. And once you have a bigger sample size, teams are going to have a better way to defend them. I don't think Chelsea are finished or anything like that, and some of these players are not good enough. I just think they've slightly have more of a sample size and a way to catch them out than they did before, where it was a little bit like teams were not respecting them as much. Teams were playing a little less defensive against them. And now that you're seeing teams respecting them more, playing more defensive, playing more calculated, they're getting better results. And it's on the manager now. It's not necessarily on the squad. I'm saying the manager needs to be able to use his substitutes better. And I don't think he trusts his squad fully. Hence why he's not going and making substitutions until the 50th, 60th, 70th minute at times. And you have other managers, their substitutes are coming on, scoring winners, getting equalizers, making a difference. And that's where Chelsea, it doesn't make sense for a manager who trusts his squad to play in a whole nother tournament, but in the Premier League is not even willing to put them on if the game needs to be changed. So it's on Maresca. I need to see more from him. And overall, I think Chelsea, they have the ambition where they're going to go and address their striker situation, their midfield, their attack, wherever they need to do in the summer. So I still believe they're heading in the right direction. It's just maybe this January, they're going to be a little bit more risk adverse and not make any signings.
Dan, what did you think of Trevoh Chalobah coming back?
Oh, I think it's an absolute joke, to be honest with you, because they already decided that he wasn't going to be suited to Maresca's system, already decided that he wasn't going to be considered good enough for where Chelsea were at, and they wanted to move him on, obviously for clear profit, but no one wanted to put up the money, so they had to end up with a loan deal. They banished him, obviously, and then they've gone back, crawling back to him 6 months later.
Didn't they make him train with Chilwell?
Yeah, in a completely banished group with Chukwuemeka and a number of other players. I think Conor Gallagher was part of that. They then obviously have gone back to him, asked him to come back, and then the rumour still is that they basically made him aware that this is just putting him back in the shop window again for 6 months, and he'll cover whilst we're in desperate need of a centre back because we've signed too many players that we have to rely on, but they're injury prone.
So you're gonna let Disasi leave also?
Yeah, apparently Disasi, apparently Vega. So we could see obviously the departure of, who else? Someone else I think was being linked.
Wasn't there an option to buy
3 defenders?
Wasn't there an option to buy in his contract at Palace though?
I'm not sure, and it wouldn't even surprise me if he actually got a move back to Palace in the summer. Would not surprise me at all.
Don't get me wrong, Chalobah's not.
You guys did them dirty because he was starting for them.
Yeah, I agree, and if Trevoh comes back or gets injured, touch wood he doesn't, or it doesn't go to plan, I think he'll be incredibly frustrated that he's given him a second chance when they've already treated him honestly how they have is just unbelievable. Yeah. I wouldn't have gone back if I was Trevoh.
Definitely not the way they treated him. That's crazy. But yeah, Dan, are you in agreement that even if Maresca is to finish 6th this season, you should still give him till next year?
No, their fans are never going to do that.
That's
crazy. I'm not asking Dan. I'm not asking you. I'm asking
Chelsea.
I don't think sixth is, to be honest, I don't think it's acceptable. I probably would probably say that he might be out of his depth, but for me, I don't trust the sporting directors to go and get someone else. I think ultimately some time is needed to start to assess what is actually going on at Chelsea. We need a bit of patience. We need to assess what level the squad is at, what level players are at, where this team want to go with what system, and then recruit the players to fit in. I think if they sack Maresca, who's on a 5-year contract, it just shows they're not really sure of what way they want the club to head in.
Thank you.
So,
or you can say
I don't know.
That was what I was getting at, Dan. Basically,
I don't think 6th would be acceptable, and I don't think it's good enough. And it would put him in a very dangerous position. I think we've seen.
What if he doesn't win the conference?
A certain manager needs time to fix this. Someone needs time to fix this. It's not a change every season, law of averages, see what happens.
No, because the squad isn't. You could do that with Chelsea's squad 15 years ago when it was a team built of winners that could literally coach themselves to results. They did that. They got to Champions League finals pretty much on their own. I don't think that's what this team is now. This team is young and experienced and needs guidance from I think, an experienced manager, which they don't currently have. So now they've got an inexperienced manager learning how to guide an inexperienced squad. And that's just going to take even longer. And we'll just have to see how it develops.
Yeah, viewers, give us your thoughts, feelings, opinions on that. The comment here says, Terry, did you speak about Chelsea paying a fine for the Roman secret payments? But we haven't discussed it. But yeah, it does appear that Chelsea are going to be given the opportunity to pay a big fine as opposed to a points deduction. I don't think anyone's surprised, because what they did is like most walks of life. They've found it themselves. They've grasped themselves up. It's under new ownership. They've completely cooperated. They've opened up their books. And I think the Premier League is just going to turn around and say, well, thank you for being so honest to the new owners. And yeah, let's see what the size of the fine is, first of all. But I'm not surprised by this whatsoever. It's like anything in life. If you hand yourself in and plead guilty, you get a much lighter sentence than somebody that goes on the run for 13 years and then doesn't cooperate and then is found guilty. Like the punishment was never going to be the same. And isn't it mad, right? Let's just paint a scenario here. Say Chelsea get an £8 million fine. Boom, done. Let's say City, hypothetical, so City fans, please don't cry. Say they're found guilty of all the serious charges. But then in the sort of sentencing, it's basically said that if they'd have cooperated and been honest, then they've got like a £10 million fine. That's what's crazy about it. Like, the different approaches and what can end up happening. But no, it's not going to be it can't be a bloody 10k fine, someone says. But Chelsea's midfield is hilariously wide. What about Eric Ten Hag coming in?
Wide? I don't get. What do you mean by wide?
Yeah, I don't get that either.
I think it means wide open, easy to run through.
Oh yeah, no, I could. In terms of where Enzo Fernandez was occupying on the pitch the other day, I can see what he means. But no, Ten Hag is just not in the conversation, is he?
No, and his midfield was the most.
Maybe at Spurs. Maybe at Spurs.
In like the last, like that. That's a crazy to say. Go get Ten Hag, just shore up.
Ten Hag to Spurs is a good shout every day.
He's going to go Dortmund, I think. To be fair, thank you, Gal. I know you got to shoot, mate, but I'll chat to you again soon. Thanks, brother.
Listen, I'm upset we didn't get to speak about Spurs. Some Derby, but fair enough.
Yeah, hour and 25 minutes. It's a hard one. You could have brought it up in the Spurs section. That was the moment. That was the moment.
I know. But hey, we're gonna win this weekend, and hopefully we keep catching Liverpool, guys. I'm out of here. Peace.
I hear that.